when you're winning. Get a goal, it's just the beginning. You gotta sing when you're winning. Everywhere you go. Everywhere you go. You gotta sing when you're winning. Get a goal, it's just the beginning. Sing, sing when you're winning. Everywhere you go.
Hello and welcome to episode 37 of the Sing When You're Winning, a fantasy football equality podcast featuring distant cousins of podcast royalty and a very special guest this week who we will reveal very shortly. But waiting in line for the podcast to run this week, it's myself, Jamie, we've got Steve, and we welcome back Lee and Jersey Chris this week. They were missing in action last week, but they are back. So everyone to introduce themselves, name of the team, and this week, today's Good Friday. So Good Friday morning to you all. It's Easter weekend. The question this week is, well, Steve, have you got any money on what you think my question is going to be this week?
It's going to be something to do with Easter, and it's going to be what is your favourite Easter egg or something.
It's close. It's close, to be fair.
What do you prefer, Easter eggs or actual eggs?
I mean, we could go with that one. But it's simply, how do you eat yours?
Oh. What,
I'm
a
obviously
cream egg,
talking
a
about
cream
cream
egg
eggs.
or cream eggs?
I'm talking about Cadbury's cream eggs, to be clear.
I prefer the caramel, to be honest.
Oh, our guest getting in early there with the caramel ones.
Yeah,
Anybody
they're definitely
else?
better. The other ones are too sweet, I find now.
Yeah, I agree.
I just don't like it. I'll have a caramel one. I've not tried a white one yet. I don't know if anyone's tried one of them.
Is there a white one?
Yeah.
You haven't made it to
My
Jersey.
boy has. My boy has, and
No,
I thought it was one of those ones with £1 million. Like, stop eating it.
Yeah.
But,
because white Kit Kats have made it to Jersey for like 4 months, and I got addicted to them, and now they've gone. We can't get the white Kit Kats, and now I'm obsessed with white Kit Kats. Can't buy one.
We need to send a package of white Kit Kats to Chris.
Yes, please.
That's the
Care
plan.
package.
Yes, a care package of white Kit Kats.
White Kit Kat egg.
Yeah, but how do you eat them? You're all saying which ones you like. How do you eat them? Is it
Take
all
the
in
top
one?
off it. Yeah,
Yeah.
take the top off it, and then just get involved.
Get involved. All right.
Probably-
You don't
probably
want to
3
say you
bites, there's
don't.
not much to
You
the
don't
list
want me
there.
to have the sound bite where you say take the top off and lick the inside out. That's what you.
That's what I did wanna say.
basically what you were trying to avoid, wasn't it?
That's
So
what
there-
you're trying to goad us all into, Jamie.
It's not. I'm not Chris Morris.
Well,
That's not what this is about. Anyway, but yes, well, yeah, it's Good Friday, so we should all be excited. It's Easter. We're off work. Hopefully, everyone's off work, and yeah, all of that good stuff. And Big Brother watch week 2 of Big Brother. At the time of recording this Good Friday morning, Chesney's still in there. Anyone been watching it?
I've watched bits of it, but
I've seen
That's fun.
Chesney's TikTok videos of him doing stuff, and then him
Yeah, he's
being
making it
cringed
look
out
like
about
he's
it, which
watched
is quite-
himself on the telly, isn't he? Yeah,
very
that's-
clever.
It is very well done, very well done. And but yeah, and no one got any excited. I've not watched much of it, but Chesney's not been up to much, has he? From what I've seen,
no, he's keeping quiet. But then it's all on Mickey Rourke, isn't it? So he's gone.
Playing
now,
the
so
long game.
isn't he? Right, let's move swiftly on and meet our special guest, who's already told us that he likes caramel eggs. I think it's fair to say. But yeah, this week's special guest describes himself on Blue Sky as wizard shopkeeper at Potions Cauldron and hole-in-one golf. So those of us who are obviously follow Sing When You're Winning will know that he's also a Potions Cauldron is our sponsor. So we have to be nice, extra nice to our sponsors. So we'll be extra nice to our special guest and give him the most warmest of very warm welcomes to the Sing When You're Winning podcast. It's Mr. Phil Pinder. Woo! Quite loud there.
Thank you.
Woo-woo.
It was quite impressive. Quite thanks, Jeff.
I'm excited because it's Good Friday. You see, I'm off work, so it's the excitement this Friday morning. But yeah, how's your season been going, Phil?
Cake as always. We're a crazily fast expanding business, so we're opening new premises in Leeds very soon. I've already got another premises that we're opening after we've opened that one, so I've got like 3 lined up idea with new premises openings. We've just launched some new drinks with Disney, so that's chaotic as well. So very, very busy at the moment.
Wow.
Excellent. I mean, what do you do when Disney get in touch and say, "Yeah, you've got a deal"? I mean, that must be pretty exciting.
And it was came to us. So they came to us at the worst show I've ever done in my life, which is called Imbibe.
Right.
And it's basically an alcohol show for the on-trade and bars and pubs. But they give away free drink samples. So after like 11 o'clock in the morning, and so everyone's walking around going, "Oh, what are you giving away?" And you get a free glass to walk around with. You can swap it anytime, get a clean glass.
Yeah.
And literally by lunchtime, it's just like a basic nightclub trying to hand out free samples, and everyone's going, "Oh, the soft drinks." Oh. And then, but yeah, fourth day, person we saw on the day, and she said, "Oh, we've got a magical cruise line that think would do well with these." I went, "It's not Disney, is it?" And she went, "Can't tell you that." And it turned out it was. So yeah, that's how it started.
Amazing.
Yeah, and that was 2 years ago. So we now supply drinks direct to Disney on the cruise lines. And then from there, we cheekily went, "Can we use Marvel as an IP license it?" And they went, "Yeah, why not?" So we just launched nationwide with a Hulk America and a Iron Man drink, which hopefully you'll see in View Cinemas and some big other nationals that I'm not allowed to name yet.
Brilliant.
Very
Nice.
Very soon.
Nice.
Excellent stuff. No, it's a huge. We're going to come on to chat about it in a bit, but yeah, it's a huge success story, isn't it? So long may that continue.
So where was this exhibition, Phil?
Yeah, we want to go.
Where's this exhibition?
It's called Imbibe. And to be fair, all you need to do is make up a name and you can get a ticket. Because it basically, you won't go around scanning people. And you're like, "Oh, I'm sure they've got great buying power. But yeah, it's a very strange show. Lots and lots of drunk people. Yeah, so if you get yourself tickets, it's good. And some very nice like brandies and ciders and beers to try.
Yeah.
You've not called your drink Iron Man Brew, have you? You've not gone down.
It's not. It's the Iron Man Reactor Red because it's the inner quorum of the reactor to give you the powers of Iron Man.
And have you tested them out? Do they really give you
Yeah, of course I do. Yeah. I look like I'm turning into the Hulk because I've got a shirt on under this. Our front room's quite cold. I had to wear a football shirt.
Right, Phil. Let's look at your stats then for your time in the FPL. Although it says you're in your third Sing When You're Winning season, but you must have changed your email. You've done that classic thing where you change your email so the history goes.
Well, I didn't change my email.
So
I changed the way I logged in because I could never remember my password. So I used Google sign in instead, so it remembers the word for you.
Right.
Is what I did. So I think
we've got finished 13th in 22-23. We've got that record when there was 28 teams. So you finished 13th of 28 teams. You were 10th last season, and you're currently 4th in tonight's live table. Obviously, Good Friday's live table. Correct that. Just 3 points off an automatic promotion spot, which is quite exciting. Owner of the Potions Cauldron, we've already mentioned that you generously sponsor both our Manager of the Month and the Potions Cauldron Cup, which was won by Rick Witter last season and recently by Ben Shires with a very pretty looking. Oh, look who's showing off as well. What's that?
I won, everyone.
You won. Good stuff. Did you drink all the drinks?
I have had a bit of rum and I've had the sweets, but I need to crack open them soon. I'm waiting for summer.
Waiting for the summer, and then you're going to be running along the beach at Jersey like Iron Man. Is that what you're going to be doing?
Not quite.
That's the plan. That's the plan. But yeah, sorry, you were saying about your promotion push there, Phil.
Yeah, well, I do love my stats, and I do love kind of like football stats books. Got into those quite heavily about 5 years ago. You read about all the statisticians that now work in football. Man City have a team of 50 who work in the stats office. And it's just nuts, isn't it? Like you see the goalkeepers with the list on the cup of who's going to shoot, and stats just amaze me. It doesn't only work in football; it works in business as well. There's this thing called nudge theory, where the government send out a letter just by changing one line in the letter, they can make people pay their tax on, and and that's kind of the level it's got down in football now. You can actually change a game by how you send it. Like it just fascinates me, that kind of stuff. I don't for sure you can pass it on to FPL. But yeah, it's good to look at the stats behind it. And like this week, I've got 2 people in my team looking at where are the games coming up with 2 players in and who would be. So I've got Isaac in this week as captain, and he's already done 10 points to me. So hopefully he can hat-trick at Crystal Palace in that final game this week and secure me victory. But I think I'm doing it okay. So yeah. It's a good thing to keep an eye on is the old stats, and I think how people progress over the season. And also looking at my thing is not to look at the figure, because like sometimes you see a player's total points, but actually they're not played for half the season because they've been injured, so you can miss out a player that way, can't you, as well, looking at some of the stats dead easy. So
definitely.
But we'll see how we go. I'll probably end up 10th after it all. That's my prediction.
I don't think you'll finish 10th. I think you're doing more than all right to finish in the playoffs at least, I would say. But we shall see how it goes on.
I'll probably just mess it up like Scunthorpe do every time we get into the playoffs. So yeah.
Well, my family are like Spennymoor fans, and Scunthorpe beat Spennymoor at the weekend 2-0. But Spenny are in the FA Trophy final, which is quite.
With Scunthorpe's key player Finn Shrimpton, who is basically the last lad to come from our academy before we got more league, and he's a Scunthorpe lad, and for some reason doesn't fit with our current manager, so he's on to Spennymoor Town. I think he scored the kind of like equaliser goal that made it go to penalties, and then scored a penalty as well. So sent him to the final, which is great for Spennymoor.
Oh yeah, no, I was celebrating the penalty shootout when they beat Rochdale. That was good. Anyway, sorry, as a non-league chat on this Good Friday morning, it's always good. But yes, Steve, let's have a look at. Well, we're mid-game week, aren't we? So what can you share?
So we aren't going to look at any results because everyone's got about 6 or 7 players still to play, aren't they? So it's a bit pointless. But I could look. In fact, before we even start, we've just talked about the Phil sponsoring the Potions Cauldron Cup. We've got dramatic news, breaking news from this afternoon.
Oh,
the Potions Cauldron Cup has gone missing.
What?
Oh, no.
What?
We think it may have been stolen, and I've just had it come to me, Steve, that he definitely went to that house.
Oh my god!
So I actually think it has actually been stolen.
This is appalling.
How
It's
dare
gone
they?
missing. We need to find Pickles the dog's
We need Pickles.
ancestor.
Yes, exactly.
Not Pickles. That'd be a bit creepy. Digging up a dog.
Yeah.
That's not right.
No.
I meant Chutney, isn't it?
Maybe that's what he's called. The ancestor's called Chutney or Piccalilli. Come on, Piccalilli. That's a good boy.
Appalling. Is there no ring doorbell to kind of keep an eye on this stuff?
Well, apparently Ben says he was getting his driveway done on Friday as well, so he didn't think anyone would have been able to get over the driveway to deliver it, but obviously they have done. And
You
it
don't
looks
reckon
quite an
the driveway
exposed
contract's
driveway,
stolen
so
it?
I imagine somebody's seen them. But what good is it to anybody? It's got Ben's name.
I might send it and hold it to ransom.
And I mean, presumably it's got massive meltdown value, Phil. But
Well, yeah. But I was hoping to use it every year and put a new plaque on it.
so it's gone before it even got to its winner.
That's appalling. I think you should write to the
I mean,
local press about that one.
I mean,
We
I
need a
did
piece
wonder,
appeal.
you don't think it was his wife who'd seen the picture we sent him, dear Steve? And she's because he did say it's pictures off the mantelpiece to put it in by the place.
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
I reckon somebody's half-inched it.
That's shocking. Shocking behaviour.
I think you should put a social media appeal out, Phil, on Potions Cauldron.
We'll do
Yeah.
it. We'll do it.
Where is it?
And Ben could share it among.
We'll have
But
a
speaking of
full-scale
Pickles, Pickles' life spiraled out of control after finding that trophy. Did you know that?
No.
Come on, tell us more.
Well, Pickles found the trophy in 1966.
Mm-hmm.
Instantly became a celebrity dog, and his owner was accused of being part of the theft of it originally, but then he managed to explain his way out of it. But after that, and then he was given £5,000 or something, equivalent of about 130,000 now, for finding it. With which the owner then bought a new house, which Pickles then moved to. Pickles also won Dog of the Year that in 1966 and various other things.
No.
Whatever people were giving out in 1966.
Was that wrong, then?
But Pickles then died at the new house.
Oh.
Oh.
He was chasing a cat, and then his choke chain caught on a tree, and he died. Which some of our panel members seem to find funny.
Oh dear.
Poor Pickles.
I mean, whether that's a cover story or whether he hung himself after the fame faded, I have no idea. But
Yeah, I think Pickles was on something. The highlight. I think that was
Pickled onion.
Didn't have a plastic bag over his head with an orange in his mouth or anything. As well, did he?
Yeah, the E's just gone on this week's episode. That's for sure. But yes, well, that's a sad story. This
well,
Easter.
it is, and I apologise to any dog lovers out there for the reaction of Lee and Jamie there.
I'm a dog lover.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah,
Like,
where's
it's
Lee's
not-
dog? Where the hell's Lee's dog? He's probably cowering in corner.
Yeah, I've kicked him
Yeah.
out. You can't listen to stuff like that. Imagine them. Poor things.
It's not like it was a recent story. If it had been a recent story, I wouldn't have been laughing.
We cover everything on this, don't we?
Yeah, we might edit some of it out, but anyway.
Hero 1966, dead 1967.
Yes. Well, Solomon Grundy, he only lasted a week, didn't he? That kind of thing. Anyway, so yeah, so basically what you're saying is someone's half-inched the Potions Cauldron Cup.
Yes.
Shocking behaviour. Absolutely shocking behaviour.
The bottle of rum and 3 bottles of potions and stuff.
What? There was rum as well.
That's what they did?
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
think that's what attracted them? And then they're like, oh, what's this? They've got
Drinking it
their
out the cup.
priorities- Yeah, they've got the priorities wrong though. Because I'm
Using it to mix it in.
Yeah, exactly. So
Mixing their options in a plastic cup.
Amazing.
I wonder if Mrs. Shire's smelt of rum on Friday nights.
Well, sad news when you win in this week.
Anyway, with no results to go by, I can look at the current live league tables because some of those games might work out, some of them might not. At the top, Alistair Bruce Ball is still going to be top. There's going to be 3 teams tied on 60 points now. Ali Bruce Ball, Ed Chesters and Paul Chambers-Tonner are all on 60 points. Just behind them, we've got Leon and Tom Bird and the current champion, Mark Summerton. They're on 56 and 55. Down at the bottom, it's looking quite good for me, but I don't like to sort of say anything about it just yet until last night.
Yes,
Trying to go along with your stupid charade about Fridays.
It is Friday. It's Good Friday.
Well, then we'd know the results, won't we? So what's the point in that? Anyway, I'm near the bottom. I've got 39 as it stands. Then there's Michelle with 31, Faris with 30, Dan with 29, and John Gregory bottom with 27. But I'm playing John, so if I lose, which will happen if Isak gets a hat-trick, then that'll change. So let's hope Isak doesn't get a hat-trick.
I don't agree with you there.
Championship, where 3 of you are. Jim is 6 points clear at the top as it stands from Tim, who's on 60, followed by Stu, who was relegated last year with 58. You, Phil, with 57. Tom Gregory, last week's guest, or one of them, 56 points as well. Andrew Clancy, 56 points. And then Cole Jenkins is on 54, just outside that. Down at the bottom, bit more complicated there. Everyone starts winning down there now at the bottom.
Not everyone.
No, what's happened with you, Lee? What has happened to you, Lee?
Bad run, Lee. I've noticed.
I'm just like, I'm having a really, really bad run. So my wild card has been initiated.
Yeah, but you're playing Nick, and then she looked at your team on Saturday morning and she said, has Lee forgotten to do his team? And then...
I know, there's like loads of people not played and like, yeah, just not good.
You've kind of played a wild card, but not picked any of the double game week players, haven't you?
No, I've played a wild card for this next one.
All right, okay.
Alistair Griffin I'm playing next.
Oh yeah, crucial. But he's still not in the bottom picture anyway. But Mark Morris is a moment 15th on 42, but I think he's going to lose to Joe, who is 18th on 38. So that's going to swap. And
2-0 to PSG. 2-0 to
Oh, dear.
PSG. Breaking football news.
So I think Mark might slip into
great
the
goal.
relegation zone with Graham Swan. And as you say at the bottom, Alistair Griffin's got 36 points and Jonas has 28 points and is well adrift at the bottom down there. In League One, Jamie Hurst is 14 points clear again, so there'll only be 18 points to play for after this week, so he's nearly there. In fact, promotion-wise, he'd almost be about a point off now. Then you've got Alex Renton, Lee Nicholson, Ben Hope and Stu Kelly in the playoffs. And down at the bottom, Ben Taylor's bottom, 33 points, looking like he's going to go down. Chesney, who's obviously incarcerated at the moment, has actually already won. He's beaten Lee Nicholson already. They're both got the same players tomorrow. So he's won without even looking at his team. Nathan Clark is third from bottom. Tim Bresnan is fourth from bottom, but only a point from safety now. So Tim might actually get out of there. And at the bottom league, Pete Martini's top. Ben Halliwell is second. They've got 70 and 67. Grace Maloney has now bounced right back up to third place as it stands. And the playoffs would be Sophie Ridge, Natalie Pike, Joe Singleton, and Vicky Sparks. And Neil Robertson is just outside a point behind Vicky. And if we want to mention the bottom two, Paul Tonkinson, I think he's winning, strangely enough, and he's been in the Sahara.
He has. Phenomenal effort.
Yeah, unbelievable.
So you can trek across the Sahara or go into Big Brother and win.
Yes, basically. Spend less time on your team and you'll win at this point in the season.
This is key.
Yes.
Don't listen to podcasts or any
I
advice.
did see Big Lee getting his excuses in. He was given the big excuse that he accidentally got to do his team this week. So
Well, Chesney probably did as well.
Yeah.
But maybe Paul Tonkinson was listening to all of these pods while he was racing across the Sahara. I mean, I'm pretty sure he wasn't, but you never know. You never know. Passes the time, as they say. Shall we have a look at some real football in the next week's game week? Because we've got a couple of double game weeks for a few teams. So we'll jump straight to Monday Night Football, and it's Spurs against Forest. Two teams. Forest are having a bit of a wobble, and Spurs, who knows what you're going to get with Spurs these days.
Yeah.
But what do we think? Spurs Forest on Easter Monday Night Football.
8-0 to Forest.
8-0 to Forest. That's Spurs.
Draw, but hopefully I'll be quite drunk by then, and Sheffield United will be losing to Burnley, and Leeds will be just about up. So
I predicted Leeds would get promoted on Easter Monday ages ago, and I think it could happen.
It could.
I genuinely still think that could happen, and it'd be brilliant if Wilder was crying into his whatever on Monday night. I'd love that.
Yeah, he's a pretty bad loser, isn't he? Love it.
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah. Against Plymouth the other day, he was just, what was he doing at the end? Just crazy, man.
Yeah.
Absolute crazy. But
I wouldn't put it past Leeds to lose on Friday and then lose again on Monday. That would be very Leeds.
It's not going to happen, though. Nah,
A little bit more positive than that, Stephen. Needs to be a little bit more positive.
I've said for a long time Leeds are getting promoted, and even when you had your wobble, I knew you had to play Middlesbrough at the Riverside. That was obvious.
Yeah. Being a lot more confident now, I do think even if we draw on Friday and win Monday, I still think we're going to do it in the last two games.
Yeah. I think I'd fancy Burnley. I don't think Burnley will lose to Sheffield United anyway.
No, I don't think they will.
Well, Burnley have got hard running. They've got QPR, Millwall, and someone else who's up there as well, I think. So they've got quite a hard running as well. So.
Leeds have got three teams at the bottom, haven't they? So, but then Sheffield United probably thought that when they were playing Oxford and Plymouth as well, and lost to both.
But back to the original question, I'm going for Forest. Forest win 2-1.
Okay. Anyone think Spurs?
I think it's going to be a draw. No. I think Spurs will take this 2-0, then it'll be 2-2 or something like that. Big heavy draw.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Forest is slightly bottling it a bit. having a wobble, which I predicted a few weeks ago.
Yeah, having a bit of a wobble. Yeah, having a bit of a wobble. But talking of Forest, special shout out to my mate. He's obviously been off with Easter holidays. He's got 2 sons, one who's 9, one who's 6. And the lads decided what would they do over Easter, and they wanted to drive to every Premier League ground, take an inflatable goal, and score a goal to say they'd scored a goal at every single Premier League ground, and they raised for pancreatic cancer at the same time. But they did it in like 3 days or something. And the last stadium they went to was Forest, and Nottingham Forest found out about it and like let them go on the pitch and actually scoring one of the real goals. Imagine being 9 and 6 and doing that in your Easter holidays.
Yeah, amazing.
Well done.
Effort. So yes, thought I'd give them a bit of a shout out. It's talking about Forest. But on to the next one, City Villa, Tuesday night. So this will be the double game week games.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Could be
well, if Villa go out tonight, Villa are going to have to be going all out for Champions League out there after that.
But so does City.
Yeah, true.
I mean, for my team, I'm hoping that Villa will got no City players in my team. So
I'm hoping
that's my tip.
Will go crazy over the next couple of games. That's what I'm hoping for. I think it could be. I think City 4-3. I think it could be a silly end of season.
I think City
scoring.
Yeah.
And then the last game Wednesday, Arsenal Palace, which is a weird one to call. I think right now.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
If Arsenal were to go through, which you would well, it's Friday morning, so we'll know. But as we sit here, like you'd expect them to be in the semi-finals, wouldn't you? But with Real Madrid, you never know. Either way, Arsenal will either be buoyant or it could be total season over.
Yeah, or saving themselves. Yeah, like I say.
Yeah,
I'd say 2-1 to Arsenal.
Okay. Villa just scored.
Oh, game on. I fancy
on aggregate now.
I fancy Palace next Wednesday night. I'm going to
go Arsenal Saka hat trick.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, I'm going to go Arsenal as well.
Who scored for Villa? Was it Asensio?
Double check.
It was.
I've wanted Asensio for weeks, and then
Looks
I
like
finally thought last week I'm gonna put Asensio in, and I was quite excited. He missed 2 penalties.
He did.
Tielemans' own goal, by the looks of it. Tielemans' shot, but it looks like an own goal.
Yeah.
Good stuff. The live football as it happened.
Deflected.
Good Friday morning once again.
Friday morning live football.
It is
highlights. It's the highlights.
Yes, it's nice live. Remember, as it happens this Friday morning. So we always have a chat at this time to our guest about the football team they support, and it's refreshing to hear that it's not one of the regulars. So Phil, you support Scunthorpe United.
I do. Yeah.
Is that where you grew up? Or
I was born in. My dad was a steel worker. And he was an electrician at Steelworks in Scunthorpe. He got made redundant of the first steelwork that closed, and we moved to Yorkshire when I was about 9. And then when I was old enough to hop on the train on my own and not tell my mum, about 11, I used to just go to Scunthorpe with my mate on the train. Quite well off as a kind of like youth, because I did 7 paper rounds, enough money for things like train tickets and football tickets. And I remember but I think the thing was that when I was 11, Scunthorpe got a new ground. They moved from the old showground to what is now Glanford Park, that many of you will be. And it was the first stadium after Hillsborough. It was a fully contained stadium. And the first time I went, it was like, look at this, a fully like contained stadium. It was the first one I'd ever been to that was full on all. I'd been to a game at Ellen Road with some friends, which I think was a cup game, and it was Scunthorpe versus Leeds in either the FA Cup or League Cup. And I sat at the back with all the kind of like Leeds, and it was terrifying. But yeah, like going, yes, when we scored first, and but they all looked after me. It was a good laugh. And then I go into a ground where literally you can see the pitch from every single seat because it's so tiny. It's Scunthorpe. Yeah. Going on and off for years. We've had the highs and the lows. I didn't really enjoy the Championship too much of beating Newcastle. That was a good feeling. But those felt a bit fake to me because there was our owner at the time, Peter Swan, whose wife had got all the money from Wilkinson's. Yes, that's why it disappeared, because they put all the money into Scunthorpe. And I think went through about 7. having players like Ivan Toney in the team and people that are probably like above. Scunthorpe's a tiny place. It's a 40,000 population. It can't maintain a club at that level with that fan base.
Yeah.
And then horrible, calamity dropout from the Championship National League North in I think 9 years, is it? It's a heck of a drop, and pretty terrifying. But to be fair, as we've hit the bottom, we've actually done some weird records. Like our ever highest attendance was 2 weeks ago, which just makes no sense. But I think people actually enjoy it more now, and post-COVID, I think people want to go more as well. So there's a bit of that as well, and people are enjoying the football, but also I think people are enjoying connected to their community now and enjoying the community feel of the football. Like this week, we had a steelworks to obviously what's going on in Scunthorpe at the moment with the steelworks. Yeah. So all the workers from steelworks marched, and the senior politicians were all there to meet them. And at half time, they walked onto the stadium, and full credit to the fans because they were up there singing "Save Our Steel," and they actually kicked off the song. To be fair, it's nice to have that community feel, and I do think at some point back to the National League, and it's great. I take my two youngest along with me. My youngest, who's 7, he comes along and loves singing. We're Scunthorpe United, we're top of the league, and I'm like, save this. It doesn't come very often, trust me. I've been doing it for 30 odd years, and other than the kind of we've won the league, I think, in that time. My ever memory of that was cool was probably going to Wembley. I was 15, 16, and we had Blackpool in the playoffs for what is now the second division, but 4th division back then. We missed out on penalties, but it was one of those days where it started great. We scored first, and then they did the late equaliser, and then it went down to penalties, and then dream hopes are shattered. And it was my only ever visit to the old Wembley as well, so it was a special moment with those very weird, kind of like very high barriers and stuff. But that's what football's all about: is special memories and special days. And to be honest, if we win promotion back to the National League, that's where the money starts to kick in again for the club, and then one step away from the football, and hopefully we can do it like did, where you do it on the cheap, because some of the clubs at the top of the are spending more than clubs in the first division. So it's a scary time.
I think promotion.
Yeah, well, I think hopefully this season. We've got 3 games to go. Easter today, Good Friday, we've got a game away at King, and then Easter Monday we're a final home game of the season to I can't remember all the teams in this league. Come to me in a minute. I'm terrible with names of places. And then finally we sold out the Hereford game already. There was only 700 tickets. It's a tiny 4,000 stadium, and a lot of games at this level as well, like Chester, for example. They're putting 8,000 seater stadium, but they only allow 1,000 fans in to save money because they don't have to pay for the business and stuff like that, which is just bonkers. And it shows you the kind of what's broken in football is that Chester could easily get bigger than 1,000 crowd, but they're not allowed to because of the football licensing costs. So it's terrifying.
Away to Hereford. Away to Hereford, Phil.
That's the 5 week. That's the week on Saturday. Yeah. So it's the one on Monday.
You're going to Peterborough Sports.
Peterborough Sports, yeah. Which is our former manager who failed to take us up last season, came from Peterborough Sports. He was signed on a very expensive fee. It was all very, very strange. The kind of owner signed a manager and about 27 players on 2-year contracts very quickly, very big wages, and blew the budget. And fair credit to the current, still paying some of those very expensive wages. There's some at our club that are earning wages they're being brought on the first division, never mind where we are. So a very big wage bill at the minute, and it'll be interesting to see this next season.
Well, fingers crossed. I'd like to see Scunthorpe get back up there.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of average teams in the National League itself. So I think it's one of those. If you get promoted, then you've got the money in set up, I think, to push on potentially.
They just have those strange promotion systems there, don't they? Where you get one team goes up and everyone else is in the playoffs, aren't they?
Yeah, it's really weird.
It's consultation whether we change it to 2 automatic one playoff come down from the second division as well, so it'll be easy to get relegated out of the Football League.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with that. I think the FA have got to agree as well as the National League. National League have obviously shown support for that, and Wrexham and clubs that have made it up and gone Division 2, Division 1, because that happens with a couple of clubs now with the big budgets that have got promoted. And that actually, if you've got the players, you're actually good enough to play in Division 1, never mind Division 2, because it's that hard to get out of.
I suppose it's just protecting the teams that go down, isn't it? That won't want the loss of revenue, and they'll probably go bust and
Yeah. And that's the issue. It's like you lose your academy fee, you lose TV payments. Yeah, it's a lot of big payments go. You get your academy for 12 months, and then it's gone basically. Lost our academy now, and that's loads of kids from Scunny. And like I say, with Ray Clements and Kevin Keegan came from Scunthorpe. So Liverpool have done very well that was over the years. It's a shame to see that go, isn't it? That kind of grassroots of every area having a thing. And I think it's changed because some of the big clubs now have teams at 5, don't they? Which is like bloody nuts, in my opinion. Like, how can you see talent in a kid at 5? They might not even like football. It's strange times. And the football regulator, when he comes, got a hell of a job on.
Absolutely. Well, no, it's good to hear. Like you said, it's good to chat about non-league football, especially and different clubs. But yeah, we definitely would. I think universally, and he would probably want to see Scunthorpe get promoted. I think so. But yeah, we've now got our questions. So this is a reminder of everyone. Hopefully, they've done the homework and got some questions ready for Phil. I've got a couple of questions for you this week. First question is, which is bigger, the BAFTA or the Potions Cauldron Cup?
Well, probably the bigger controversy is going to be the Potions Cauldron Cup, because who's a BAFTA? No one's ever done a BAFTA, have they?
Well,
and there's some driveway. What do you call somebody lays driveways?
Layers.
Yeah. Currently living the big life with a bottle of Potions Cauldron rum out of a very, very magical cup, I think. So we'll have to design it heavier next year, I think.
Yeah, padlock it or put one of those air tags in it. One of those Apple air tags.
Yeah, that'd be a good track of ice.
Probably because I don't know.
Make a good podcast, get it down, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And Ben said he cleared a place on his mantelpiece for it as well.
We'll have to send him a picture of the.
No, it's just yeah. He could print off that photo, couldn't he?
Who came second?
I can't remember now.
Maybe it was them.
Maybe
accusations of whoever it was.
I'll give him a bit of weirdness. Is I actually ordered Richter a cup last year, but it never arrived in the post. And then by the time I'd remembered, so maybe there's like a jinx to the Potions Cauldron Cup.
Maybe it's the post company.
The postman's
yeah, exactly. This is a post.
Somewhere's got a drive.
Yeah.
Somewhere, someone's got a random trophy for Rick Witter. Turn up in a charity shop one day.
Someone will be like sat there and going, "Hey, love, it's happened again. Do you know that weird trophy we got last year? We've got another one.
Got one further in the mantelpiece."
Oh dear,
that would be good.
I'd love it. That would be a nice outcome, wouldn't it? Let's be honest. Surreal but random. And the next question from me is, who was the nicest dragon?
Probably Sarah Davis, which I'm going to give you some intel now.
Okay.
Then apparently Sarah Davis is not investing her own money.
Oh.
So they wanted from what I've been told, they wanted another female dragon, but there aren't many female millionaires with that kind of money, or billionaire. So she's investing on behalf of one of the founders of HomeServe, who I forgot.
But she's leaving, isn't she? She's announced that she's going to focus on something else. So that would make sense.
Yeah. She was lovely.
The Geordie woman.
Yes, yeah. There was a because we did 4.5 hours in the den, non-stop, and there was a very weird bit in the middle I know your voice to Ben, and so no, Ben was obviously he was on Minster FM as the breakfast show host for years, and former announcer at Leeds United as well, and she was like, so he obviously said, oh, you know, the local radio, I still got mixed. She's like, oh man, I used to listen to Minster FM all the time, and then Peter Jones basically, is this some stunt? I've got two idiots in white coats sat before me. Is this some kind of video stunt where you're trying to blag money out of us? Like, I wish it was. It'd be a lot more less terrifying than this. But yeah, we got good editing. It was brutal. He started off so awful, but then I realized at the end of the series that was his tactic. So his tactic was to put the other dragons off. He can make the offer. They couldn't compete with him. Very, very strange times ending down.
Yeah. That's the thing. You had a decent offer and you turned it out. Well, I mean, compared to what most people get in the den, don't they? So it obviously
it was the largest amount of money he'd offered on his own. So
yeah. He obviously knew Disney would have been sniffing. Sorry.
He was. Yeah, he did double his offer, I'm sure.
Was that your tactic though, Phil? Because I always think people often go in just for the exposure or whatever. Did you go in thinking, let's just go on and turn them down whatever they offer?
No, we'd done the things, and I think, to be fair, I was a bit. We chatted before about what we'd accept, what our lowest offer was, and I think we'd have set for 10% of equity. But we'd also read this really weird pack beforehand where if you accepted the offer, you couldn't then pull out, but could. And I don't know why that had just pissed me off when I'd read that, and I was like, where is it? So we can find something out afterwards about the deal, and we can't walk away, but they can. It's like, surely it should be 50. And there is a very weird kind of like crazy stat that half the deals after the den that get agreed on the night to come to fruition.
Yeah.
So it's not all that seems. But it was good exposure, and we knew we had exposure from it. But we were hopeful that we'd get an offer. That was what we went for, an offer. To be fair, on the right terms, we'd have probably said yes. But I think Peter Jones was just maybe a little bit too nasty what he did it. And that's where we were like, I mean, called it as idiots in white coats, literally called that, which doesn't play well when
it's good exposure for you anyway, though, isn't it? It's good exposure for you anyway, whether you go on or not. It's, you know, you're on BBC One, millions of people are watching. So whether it's good or bad, it's going to do well.
And we got 13 minutes of airtime, which I think is one of the longest ever for one offer as well. So it's a big long show, and you can now find it on YouTube listening, and you want to go and have a look. It's on the Shark Tank, which is the American owners of the Dragon's Den, and we're on there under some. I think it says two wizards tackle the guns as the headline.
Great stuff. But yeah, no, I mean, 30 minutes exposure on BBC One. I mean, you can't obviously buy advertising on BBC, but you can't buy advertising like that, can you? Let's be honest.
No, not at all. Yeah, not at all. And even in this day and age of every channel, it's BBC One's still great to be on time.
Absolutely. You know, thank you for.
You can buy advertising on here, though, if you like, Phil.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, to be fair, it's a bit cheeky when he already sends a Potions Cauldron prize out every month and other stuff,
and pretends to send cups to people.
Yeah, pretend. Your cups in the post. That reminds me of somebody else sponsored in this league as well.
Who is that you're talking about?
Let it go, Lee. Let it go.
I'm not letting it go. You know that. I'll never win the potions.
I can give you some skinny news.
Of course, that seamlessly links us into another trophy, doesn't it, Jamie?
It does. Do you want to tell us about?
Because alongside the Premier League this year, alongside whatever I was going to say, Tosh, whatever Carl gives you, which is like a chopping board or a mug or something or whatever. This year, you will also be winning. There's the camera. It's Premier League trophy.
Look at that.
I think that looks great.
How big are your hands?
I know. The scale is as big as a hand.
All right, Seaman. What was that Scunthorpe news then, Phil?
I was going to give you, because looking at your shirt, Lee, you've got the Terrace logo, and the Terrace have just taken over our club shop, and even though it's not been announced yet, I'm predict Harris might be replacing Kelme as the as our shirt supplier next year. But Cal's keeping
my
tight-lipped.
question was,
I did WhatsApp him, but he hasn't told me.
well, my question was going to be, could you ever see the Potions Cauldron becoming a shirt sponsor?
Well enough. Well, we've sponsored York City, and that was because during our dodgy times, the owner, my mate Glyn, who's the commercial manager at York, Scunny, ended up at York for half a season, because basically they weren't getting paid, and at York with the new owners, and he arrived with 2 weeks to go before the season, no shirts to be printed, nobody had thought about chasing anybody up to sponsor, and he phoned me up and we did a very good deal on a shirt sponsorship. So, but yeah, then this year at Scunny, he phoned me and said, do you want the back of the shirt? And I was like, this is York. And he went, of course it's not. But yeah, but I think I've been beaten out by some, like, we have lots of kind of like very core industrial. But I did say to him, I said, when we've currently got High Tech, who try and see the logo in, who do some very strange like panels and stuff that probably cost millions of pounds. And Roger's a great guy at High Tech. He sits behind me. I'm in the row next to the two players come out in front of the box, probably known as the happy clappers. Ask anyone who sits near me. I am not a happy clapper. I am a very opinionated, gobby shite. Our previous chief executive had to once say, "They'll just been sent off now." After nearly ejected for winding it down the tunnel. So yeah, I do get a bit. I probably should the DRE, but I do like the padded sets.
Good stuff. Who else has got a question this Good Friday morning?
I've got a couple of questions as always.
Yeah.
So done my homework. So first of all, how do you keep the magic alive when you're expanding into new markets or locations? And if you were to invent a potion that actually worked, what would it do?
I can answer both of those very well. So yeah, the first one is cheesy, but it is actually the magical team we employ. I actually didn't think we'd be able to, from a little shop in the Shambles, and it's always been my shop. It's been really 12 years now. I used to sell cufflinks and shirts. Everyone used to wear a shirt to work. Thankfully, I decided to give up on that idea before COVID, because I would have gone bust otherwise, wouldn't I? Because literally no one wears shirts and cufflinks and ties anymore. We basically, I was saying to Ben, I'm going to move Cuffs and Co on the shop and just focus on the online Amazon business that had. And we set up the Potions Cauldron. But to be fair, the team have taken things forward in a way that you wouldn't expect. We give them creativity, with them space. Actually got a guy now who works for us, writes a backstory that links all our businesses together.
Brilliant.
And we started off by making Phileas Fry, who obviously is Fry for Ben Fry.
Yeah.
And he's our fictitious founder that was from the 13th century, did some battle in France. Ben went to a very posh school, knows about all this kind of history and stuff, and he wrote a very good one about all this. And we basically put that on. I ordered a cheap blue pack off of some website, stuck it out of the shop. We ended up on the Open Plaques website. And a bloke emailed me and said, "Could you give more history on this Phileas Fry chap who's got a blue plaque on your bill?" And I was like, "Oh shit!" So we got removed about 6 weeks. I didn't reply to the request, but the staff have taken it for them, and they kind of now write stuff in. If you go into the shop and have one of the drinks made for you, you'll see that they're just as enthusiastic, probably more enthusiastic. I'm a grumpy old git than I ever would be, and that's how we can take it forward. And then your final question was about a magic potion working, and to be fair, I would say my magic potion would have been to buy in from the most magical brand on earth, and that would be Disney. We actually said when we first started we wanted to be like Disney, and now we're supplying drinks with Disney. That's the magic potion I wanted to do, was to have trying to hook someone like Disney working with us. And yeah, it's unbelievable, really. It's quite
it's amazing.
exciting at the same time, and next level, weird and great all at the same time.
Brilliant.
It's phenomenal stuff. Chris, Steve, you got questions?
No, I was going down the Dragon's Den route, which I followed on with Chris anyway.
I did the football thing.
I didn't finish. I didn't finish to say. So I did say to Glyn, I said, as soon as Roger says he's not giving us any more money, I'm having it. I want the front of the shirt.
Yeah.
So I have no idea how much Roger pays and how much Glyn's me off, but I think I currently sponsor. What do I currently sponsor? I sponsor the managers' post-match interviews, and it's really funny. Like, when you haven't lost many games this season, but like everyone like dials into these videos on YouTube and on Twitter and stuff, and then it's a little children-y bit, all magical and stuff at the start. Going to the manager being really like sad, and just makes me laugh every time. And then we did make for Danny Whitehall, who was our star striker last year. We made a vodka potion. Cool. We should actually launch it in the shop. It was a blue vodka liqueur, but it was orange flavored, but blue in color. So that was very good. I've got the last ever mask. So that sold very well. And even his age bottle, which he thought was phenomenal, that his agent had lashed out some money on him. So even if they have agents.
Great stuff. Well, thank you for answering those questions. We're now going to ask you some more in the shape of Sing When You're in Superfan. So you said you've listened to pretty much all of these podcasts, so you'll be familiar with the Superfan setup, and you'll be familiar with the top score is Jim with 7, which is quite high. But you just need to score 1 to get on the board.
I'm not very hopeful.
You're not very hopeful. I think you'll be all right. I mean, but it's weird. I think the reason I did home and away last week was to make this feature seem better, to be fair. But we test our guests' footballing knowledge and see how many questions you can get correct in 90 seconds. So Steve will do the timer this week, and at the end of 90 seconds, he will shout something topical out related to this week's pod. And just like Mastermind, if I've started, I'll finish the question. Who wants to do the scoring this week? Who wants to have the fingers in the airs and do the scoring?
I don't mind. I can do the magic, can't I?
Oh, the magic's not working. Oh yeah, there it is.
Oh, that's good.
How do you do that?
Impressive stuff.
He's a wizard.
I don't know how he does that. Yeah.
A wizard sleeve, isn't it?
That's the kind of thing I put on, Lee, and then you end up really professional meeting and it's still doing it.
Yeah.
Great stuff. So yes, we use ChatGPT, which again we found out last week was throwing up some stupid questions, but I think we just got to roll with it. If people spot that there's a nightmare, just call it out, and we'll ask another question.
I love when Lee said wizard slave. There's a look on Jamie's face, and he's thinking 56 minutes. And
I don't even need to say it.
I don't know what that means.
Certain things that I've already decided there's going to be a fair few edits in this episode.
Why? What's wrong about that? I don't understand.
Who knows?
Just like being back in the den.
On a Wizards episode, what are you on about?
Yeah. Get your wands out, lads, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I think it's a safe bet to say that the Wizard sleeve will not be appearing on Friday.
You are so woke.
I'm listening to it.
You've got to say it at the end of the quiz now, Steve.
Yeah, I can't get rid of that, can I? Anyways, right, are we ready? The time will start when I ask the first question. The question I'm not going to ask, though, but it's interesting to see if you'd know the answer. What's the record for the most goals in a single FA Cup match from 1887?
Let's go 8.
It was 26. Preston beat High 26-0.
That is high. Wow.
Back in 1887. But yeah, you'll be pleased to know we won't be asking that question.
Now I know the answer.
Yeah, people are like, wow, amazing, he knew that. Cool, right. Are we ready? Question number 1. Which team won the Premier League with the lowest point total?
I would say Arsenal.
It was Manchester United with 75
Oh.
points. Which club has had the most relegations from the Premier League?
Surely it's going to be like Crystal Palace, something like that. Leeds?
Norwich City. Norwich
Oh,
City.
Leeds.
Which lower league club reached the EFL Cup final in 2013?
Say again. Which
lower league club reached the EFL Cup final in 2013? The League Cup.
Yeah. Well,
The Yorkshire side. It was Bradford. Who captained England in the 1966 World Cup final?
Bobby Moore.
Yes. What's the name of Everton's new stadium, which is currently under construction? Well, finished now, isn't it?
It's finished, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it the Everton Stadium?
It's called the Bramley Moor Dock Stadium, apparently, which I think
Never
is
would have
correct.
got that. I've been there as well.
Isn't it not Stanley Park?
No, I think it's full title. Anyway, wasting time. Give him 10 seconds.
That's good.
Give him
Keep
10
wasting time.
seconds on this. Which club's mascot is Gunnosaurus?
Arsenal.
Yes. And which English club won the European Cup in 1982?
Pickles, watch that tree.
Forest, wasn't it?
It wasn't a plane this Friday morning.
We're finished now. That was
Sorry,
that was
say-
the-
Aston Villa. They were, yeah,
yeah,
Aston Villa. It wasn't.
Oh,
Forest,
okay.
it was Aston Villa. Sorry. Forest won in 80, didn't
I
they?
lost
Something
sound
like
out
that.
of the end.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what was the final score? What was the final score? Two. Two puts you in good company alongside Rick. He got 2 last time we played the quiz. Big Lee Nicholson, he got 2. Michelle Gill got everyone. The last 4 players have all got 2. It's getting harder. The quiz. That's all I can say. It must be getting harder. They are. But yes,
I'm going to listen back to some of the old ones and see how many I got.
Yes. Go back to when Jim was on. He got 7. See how many you can get on that one. Possibly.
What's Jim's favourite team? What colour does Jim like?
Something like that. Let's have an update on Bletchley Scott. So yes, Lee is modelling the shirt once again. An update on Bletchley Scott FC under 15s boys team who we sponsor this season. They were playing Linslade Galaxy last weekend. How do we think they got on against Linslade Galaxy?
Lost 3-0.
They didn't lose. I'll tell you that.
The due a win. But by you saying
it'll
that,
be a win. I reckon because it's a Galaxy, they were out of this world, and they won.
They drew. I mean, that's still. And they've drawn the last couple of games. They drew 1-1. So well done to the lads for that. But guess who they're playing next? A week on Saturday. Linslade Galaxy again. So I don't know how the fixture list is.
Home and away.
Yeah, they've only got 2 games left this season, and they are playing Linslade Galaxy a week on Saturday. They've got Easter off. So only for 2 more times this season we get to say, come on, Bletchley.
Come on, Blake.
Come on, we're doing it. I think they're looking likely to finish just below mid-table. But that's not bad. Because they had a bad start to the season, but I think they picked up. So yes, that is Bletchley Scott. And the final part of this show is shooting stars in their eyes. So yes, this is your opportunity, Phil, to if you want to do an impression, go for it. But we'd like you to pick.
The best I can do is William Hague.
I mean, you could. I mean, we try and move this forward every time. You could do William Hague as a famous Scunthorpe United footballer.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah, well, anything goes. Yeah, do an impression of William Hague as a famous ex-Scunthorpe United footballer from the 80s.
What am I doing here? Famous Scunthorpe United? I do not know. That's why.
That's quite good.
It's very good. I think this is going to happen. So tell me, William, which football?
Hang on. Can we just stop before William starts? We've got breaking news about the cup.
Oh, come on.
It's from Ben Shires,
turned
and
up?
he says, "My goodness, I found it. It was secreted in an outdoor storage box."
Yay! A happy end of Friday morning. There you
Oh,
see.
wow.
Nice
I love
one,
a bit of
Ben.
breaking
You know
news.
what? This is that whole story's been. What's that you showing?
Made up.
Everton
That's what
Stadium.
I said.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
I
you get
said.
3 then.
points.
All right, I'm updating you. 3 points.
I think it was a work in progress title, that one, and then they've changed it to something else.
Yeah, ChatGPT was working off the work in progress.
Well,
Right, you've got promoted up to
Unless
3.
you pay ChatGPT, you get answers that are a year old.
Well, there you go. That's my lesson to learn. But yeah, you've got 3, so you jump up the league table. So very well done.
Well done.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So yeah, but anyway, that was just like a nice Disney tale, wasn't it? This Friday morning.
We've got a happy ending.
Yeah,
A happy
exactly.
ending is
Exactly.
lovely. It's just
I
all
love it.
encompassing. Now we
I
just need
bet
to
Steve's
find
been
Rick's
sat on that
trophy.
picture all day.
Where's Rick Witter's trophy?
Yeah, Rick needs to let us know what happened to his trophy.
It'll be at
And
the end of the rainbow.
And what's weird is I bumped into Rick at King Station the day after I'd ordered it. And I went, "Oh, I've ordered you a trophy." In him since. But... I think I'm just a liar now.
Yeah.
But he did win one of the Potions, didn't he? This season as well. So
He was
manager of the month,
no,
whatever.
Yeah. Good stuff. So back to shooting stars in the rise. It's all happening this Friday morning.
Sorry, William.
Yes, back to William. William, which footballer are you being? Because I think it's getting very confusing, but it'll be entertaining.
I don't know.
Did you want to be Keegan? Did you say pre-thought?
Yeah, well, let's do Ian Botham because he's with the most. Because we will have our executive lounge entrance is still the Ian Botham entrance, which I always think is hilarious. So we've decided to name something after Ian Botham, but not Kevin Keegan or Ray Clemens.
Brilliant. So you're being just for anyone who's still listening in or watching this, you're being William Hague as Ian Botham. Well, actually, you're being Phil Pinder as William Hague as Ian Botham. Tonight, Matthew, that's who you're going to be. Very good on this week's Shooting Stars in Their Eyes. So, did you used to read Shooting Match magazine? You obviously listen to the pod, so you're familiar with the concept. So I'm going to ask you the questions as if you were William Hague as Ian Botham, who's not a footballer either, but we can make it work.
Well, they're not football questions mostly anyway, so he can just answer as William Hague, can he?
Yeah. What's your favorite?
Okay, fine. Yeah, it's getting too confusing, isn't it? Yeah. Fine.
William Hague was that annoying little 15-year-old Tory boy then, wasn't he?
He was, yeah.
So
you're being the 15-year-old Tory boy version.
So you'll have to go up a notch. Go a bit squeakier.
Yeah, don't go Sue Barker squeaky like I did last week. But anyway, right, moving swiftly on. First question, William. Which subject did you hate most at school and why?
I have to say I hated sport the most because I'm a rugby boy. Went to private school. How's that?
Oh.
Very good. And William, what would you do if you could? Yeah, a bit of class war. What would you do if you could be invisible for a day?
I think for a day I would consider leading the Labour Party and being the enemy from within.
Very good, very good. What, if anything, frightens you, William?
Being the 15-year-old. I think the thing that frightens me is that some of you won't be 30 or 40 years.
Bit grim. William, have you ever been mistaken for someone else?
Ian Botham.
It seems unlikely, but anyway. And William, what's your favourite cartoon character back in the 80s?
Elmerford? Because he looked like the older me.
Yes, you might have been mistaken for Elmerford as well. That's a possible. This is an interesting one for you, William. If you were forced to seek a new job tomorrow, what would it be?
League Conservative Party.
And
It's
final
probably a
question.
vacancy.
Final question. What was the first car you bought and how much did it cost?
It was a Rolls Royce. Was £4,000.
Very expensive back in those days.
3-2 to Villa.
3-2 to Villa. It's all happening. It's all happening around the time we're going to get this pod finished. So we're going. How far are they behind now, though? Is it? What's it on aggregate? Keep track.
I can't remember, and it's gone off my screen. So
No.
4-5. So another goal, and it's
Oh yeah,
All equal.
Wow. Well, I know what we're all off to do this Good Friday morning, people, is to watch the end of that match. But thank you to William Hague for doing Shooting Stars in the Eyes. It was very, very good. No, thanks so much, Phil, for joining us this Good Friday morning for another Sing When You're Winning. And good luck with the rest of the season as well. Good luck with that promotion push. And you
Thank
never
you very
know.
much.
You might just get it.
Thank you for having me on.
No, thanks for being on. You've been a great guest. Thank you. And thanks to Steve, to Lee, and to Chris as well. You can follow us on Twitter at SWYW_FPL. And remember, the double underscore is important. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you might be going in search of the Dragon Den video, and you might stumble across this one. You never know. And why not leave us a comment or ask us an FPL question? We occasionally get FPL questions, and we might even discuss it on next week's show. Well, we will be joined by another top guest. But yes, thanks to everybody. Enjoy your Easter weekend. Enjoy your Easter eggs. Enjoy the double game week, and keep on singing and keep on winning. Goodbye.
bye.
Wizard Sleeve.
I will be editing that.